Welcome to another week. This week we're coming to you from Dallas, and as some of you know, we just finished up the relationship conference we were in all last week, and it was amazing. Kenji, what is one of your top takeaways from it?
Well, this is the second time we've done it, and it's just amazing what you forget in 2 years, right? Last time we did this was pre-COVID, and it was in Hawaii, and they changed locations to Austin because of COVID. They couldn't do it in Hawaii again. So, but I have to say, probably one of the biggest things is that it's really just about taking personal responsibility for anytime you're feeling any resistance, anytime you're feeling anger, irritated, whatever it is. It's about taking that personal responsibility, putting that mirror up against you, and it's really about changing yourself, not trying to change your partner. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, and I know that most people listen to that and go, "Oh, I know that," but it's really what we really did in that program was practice situations where that happens, and then work through how you're going to deal with that in the moment. And I think that's what's really hard is that in the moment you tend to just react. And so again, it was really valuable. It's a constant work in progress, but I can already see that we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah. One of the things that I love that Tony did this time that we didn't do last time is he actually had us make a list of like all the complaints we kind of had about our partner, and then look at that list and circle the ones that we were guilty of. Right. And so it was like, hey, my partner doesn't give me enough presence or attention, or, my partner is always on the phone. And then we had to circle how many we actually did. And it was every single one of them. Right. And so you have these standards for your partner that are so high that you're not even keeping them up. And so how could you expect that from them if you don't show up? And so the real key of relationship, this conference we went to, was really learning that a key to a great relationship is your state that you show up in every single day, every single moment. And then the empowering meanings you give to what your partner does, because you can choose to look at it in a very negative light, or you can choose to give things an empowering meaning. So we walked away with a lot of tools, and we'll share those in a future podcast. But it was really fun.
Yeah, so we'll have it nicely organized in a podcast episode. So we're kind of just doing it off the cuff right now, but yeah, definitely check that episode out. It'll be coming out in the future. Well, let's talk about this week's content, and this is an article that I wrote, and it's called "Secure Your Family's Financial Future." Make it necessary, and it builds on a scene from a movie, one of my favorite scenes. In a movie called Interstellar, and it's a great scene in that movie that I've watched many times, and I wrote an article about it and applied it to how many people are going for financial freedom, but they're not making it necessary. They're hoping they're going to achieve it, and talked about how if you make it necessary, it makes a big difference in how you approach that, rather than just, I hope I achieve that.
I would actually go a step further and say, if you make it part of your identity, that you're financially free, you're going to achieve it, because identity is, one of the strongest things that once we have a particular identity, we're willing to fight for that very strongly. And then we forgot to mention, we actually drove from Austin to Dallas, and we went through Waco, which was really exciting. We got to see Magnolia Farms from Fixer Upper, that HGTV show, and that was really cool. And then we got to see the shotgun house that's featured in one of the episodes on that, which is just a little narrow house that Kenji actually has been working on for our short-term rental course. So tell us about the shotgun house.
Yeah, it's a house that is about 1,000 square feet, and it's tiny. And the Zillow value on it is probably about, I think, around $220,000. And I think it was about a year ago, the owners listed it for $1 million, and they were basing it off of the short-term rental income. And I just thought it was really interesting that they were trying to sell it for $1 million based on the short-term rental income, because if you know about rental properties, most rental properties are valued. A lot of rental properties are valued on the income that it generates, but it doesn't necessarily hold true for short-term rentals yet. And long story short, they weren't able to actually sell it for that amount. But there were a lot of articles about it. And I think it's a really good example of some of the potential downsides of short-term rentals. If you buy a property based on the income it generates, you may be overpaying for it. So something you really got to watch out for. And the shotgun house is a really good example of that. And so I wanted to drive by it and check it out because I've been reading about this, saw it on the show. And again, we're going to include that example in our short-term rentals course.
Plus, we've also been looking at properties in Waco. We just decided not to put an offer in on a student housing building in Waco. And so we were able to drive by that as well. And, we had done all the research from afar and hadn't really believed that the comps really were the comps. And just seeing it really reinforced to me that we made the right decision by not moving forward with it. And one of the weaknesses of it, it really didn't have a backup plan. It wasn't something that we were going to be able to, if the student housing, if COVID closes down the school again, that we were going to be able to rent it to long-term renters and be able to cash flow well. And so that lack of backup plan, which a lot of people do have with short-term rentals as well, just didn't make it so that we were, compelled to buy the property. So I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah, overall, I liked Waco. I think it was a pretty cool market. We've been looking at properties in Waco now for
like a year.
Yeah, about a year now. So I think it was great to just be able to check out the community there, the city, check out the local area, check out the properties around Baylor, and so yeah, it now that we have that kind of, we know what it feels like. We know know the area in general. I think it'll make it a lot easier in the future to pick up something in there. So we'll keep looking in Waco. I think it's a really good community.
Yeah, we really liked it. Well, that's all for us this week. We will put a link to the short-term rental course for those of you who know you want to get on the wait list and hear about it when it comes out in early December. Otherwise, we will see you all next week.